Ladies and gentlemen, I have to say this, and it's really crazy the fact that people will email me, leave me comments, and say, white people do it too. I need to talk about more white stories. And I'm like, why? Like, there should be no stories for me to have to talk about at all. Like, people are constantly saying I need to be more fair and balanced with my commentary, and I feel like I'm fair. But balance, you can't balance something and say for all of these stories because these are individual stories. These are not things that should continue to keep happening, things that are going to keep happening. We can wake up at any moment and decide that we're not going to let anybody else abuse our children. You see something, you say something, you report it, you get these people arrested. Be more diligent about who you have your children around. Do background checks. There is so much stuff that we can do in order to protect our babies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell y'all this story about a mother and a father who really, I think they did all that they could. And at the end, they were just failed by this individual who I'm getting ready to talk about, who took advantage of them. The individual, and y'all look at this baby, man. She is such a beautiful, happy baby. We'll get back to her pictures here in a moment because it's really hard for me to talk about this story. This fat individual that y'all see on my screen, we had to shrink her picture down because she was so big. Her name is Kirsty Hannah Flood, or Christy, whatever it is. They wrote her name two different ways. So we're going to call her Kirsty, I guess. Kirsty Hannah Flood is the Georgia babysitter who's facing murder charges after police say that she beat a 2-year-old girl that was in her care. Police found disturbing internet searches, and I'm going to say this again. Police found disturbing internet searches about abusing children on that babysitter's phone, according to an arrest report obtained by the news. They also reached out to Sandy Springs Police Department to request a copy of the report. Now, Fulton County inmate records show that, what's this woman's name? Kirsty Hannah Flood is 29 years old. Let me get back to her picture. That's the mom and the dad right there. I don't want to get them confused. I got a lot of pictures of this beautiful little baby. This fat woman right here, her name, Kirsty Hannah Flood, is 29 years old. And she was arrested on December the 11th of this year. And as of this writing, remains behind bars. I said remains behind bars. It's unclear whether she has an attorney to speak on her behalf. But here's what you guys need to know. The Sandy Springs Police Department did not release the name of the little girl, but there was a GoFundMe campaign launched to support the child's mother, identified the toddler as Fallon Freetley. Fallon, Fallon Freetley. That's the little baby's name. According to the police, officers received a call on December the 9th about an unresponsive child inside an apartment on Monterey Parkway in Sandy Springs. The news, citing the police, reported that woman, Flood, told investigators that the baby had fallen at the park. How many times are we going to do stories? We only got 5 more days left in 2020. And these dumbass people are still saying these children fell and killed themselves. They continue to keep telling us these lies. It's like either they're crazy or they're just plain stupid. Ain't that right, Lieutenant Dan? She tried to say that this baby fell and died on her own while playing at the park. She said the baby fell and hit her head on a slide and the baby lost consciousness. They're always falling. Isn't that something? The baby Fallon was rushed to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. She was pronounced dead at the hospital. Now, police said an autopsy unraveled Flood's account of what happened. So here's what you guys need to know. The medical examiner, the professional, determined that the baby had suffered severe injuries that had resulted in her death. Investigators are urging anybody who has information about Fallon's death to contact Sandy Springs Police Department Delaney via email at wddelaney@sandyspringsga.gov or by calling 770-551-3313. But what do y'all want to bet that it was probably blunt force trauma? We'll get back to those internet searches right now. The woman on the right had been caring for baby Fallon for several months prior to the toddler's death. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution, citing the child's family, reported Christy Hannah Flood was hired as Fallon's full-time babysitter back in August. The newspaper did not elaborate on how often Flood would watch the child. Now, internet searches on her phone, on the babysitter's phone, suggested that she had been feeling anger toward this little girl. And I want y'all to look at these pictures and y'all tell me, when y'all see this little baby's face, look at that baby's face. What about that baby's face will make anybody on earth upset? Will make anybody mad? Let's take a look at a few more pictures. That baby's face. Look at that. She's laughing even as a little tiny baby. What about that face will make anybody upset for any reason? If a face like that will make you upset for any reason, I don't believe that you're human at all. I don't think you're a human being at all. Look at that. That's probably my favorite picture right there. Why would you be mad? Why? Internet searches on this woman's phone showed that she had been feeling anger toward the little girl. According to an arrest warrant obtained by the news, police found chilling searches like, what type of people enjoy abusing other people's children, and what does it mean to have a sudden urge to beat a child that's not yours? Flood was booked into jail on December the 11th. According to inmate reports or records, Flood faces these charges: felony murder, 2 counts, malice murder, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children in the first degree. Now, a search of online records suggests that Flood lives in Smyrna, Georgia, which is in Cobb County. She has been arrested several times in that county. She has been arrested several times in that county. Let me repeat. Rewind and repeat. She has been arrested several times in that county. She sounds like a criminal fat bitch. Does anybody want to disagree with that? That's based on a search of public records, court records. Flood was accused in a domestic violence case in August of 2010 and arrested. The court docket does not provide details about the 2 listed victims or what exactly happened to warrant a police call. The record does show Flood faced 3 charges: 2 battery offenses and 1 count for underage possession. Bond was set at $10,000. According to a court record, the judge ordered Flood to refrain from drinking alcohol, consuming drugs without a prescription, and to submit to random drug and alcohol tests. She was barred from possessing any firearms and prohibited from contacting the victims in that case. The judge also ordered Flood must undergo counseling at her own expense. Now, here's a little bit more. Flood has also been arrested at least twice on drug and alcohol charges. So it shows that she has a pattern. She has issues. And I don't know if the mother or father knew about this, which is why I told people it's important to do a background check. So let me tell you guys this. If somebody like me or somebody like these news outlets can look into these public records, then why can't the parents? Why can't girlfriends and boyfriends? Everybody can look this stuff up. It's public record. Cobb County Court records show that Flood was arrested in February of 2010 and faced 4 charges. Underage possession, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, which is 2 counts, and criminal trespass. That looks like 3 charges, but I don't know. 4 charges technically because of the 2 counts. In that case, Flood and the 2 co-defendants were ordered to stay away from a 16-year-old girl. Bond was set at $2,500 in that case. Flood was arrested again in November 2012. According to the news, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Flood was pulled over for a traffic violation and an officer found an anti-anxiety drug in her vehicle, even though she was ordered to leave drugs alone. She was arrested, and because she did not have a prescription for the drug. The newspaper reported Flood received 3 years probation after agreeing to a plea deal. The probation was stripped less than 1 year later after Flood was ordered to 150 hours of community service. Now, there was a GoFundMe campaign, and I don't know if I have the screenshot of that GoFundMe. Maybe I do. Let me see if I have it. They opened up a GoFundMe. I've told y'all I believe in getting life insurance. They apparently must not have had it. Memorial for Fallon Friedley. Beautiful little baby, beautiful family. This is a really unfortunate situation, but we have to start getting life insurance on our children, period. Matter of fact, let's just say if you can't afford life insurance, then in my opinion, and I know this is going to be hard for the parents or anybody that's friends with the family, it might be hard for them to understand where I'm coming from. Then just take care of the final expenses for your family, for your friends, for your husband, for your wife, your daughter, your sons, your mother, father, whomever it is. I personally do not think that GoFundMe should be used as a supplement for life insurance for any human being on earth, no matter the age. Does everybody understand where I'm coming from? Black, white, Mexican, Asian, I don't care who it is. Every human being that is born should have life insurance. But nonetheless, that doesn't mean that people don't want to donate, and they did have an option to donate, and they were asking for $65,000, and they actually collected $57,000 so far, and they're probably going to reach their goal of $65,000. $65K, but let's move on. It's to cover funeral expenses, medical expenses, and as of this writing, the fund had what you guys just saw on the screen, but let me skip that portion. The memorial service was scheduled for December the 17th, which that already happened, but again, I think I make a good valid point about that, even though people are probably going to disagree and probably not understand. But let me tell y'all this. There was a lady that actually emailed me recently and told me because of my videos, she went and got life insurance on her 2 children. And I commend her for that. And I'm glad that my videos are actually doing something to help people. Go to gerberlife.com. It's very easy to do. Just look it up. Because if we can't afford this minimal amount of life insurance, then I'm not sure what we're doing, because kids are expensive. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, these are the news videos. Here we go.
Sam, thanks. New at 11:30, a babysitter in Sandy Springs is now charged with murder of the death of a 2-year-old girl. Police say it appears the little girl... Sam, thanks. New at 11:30, a babysitter in Sandy Springs is now charged with murder of the death of a 2-year-old girl. Police say it appears the little girl suffered severe injuries while under the care of 29-year-old Christy Flood. The victim was found unresponsive in an apartment on Monterey Parkway last Wednesday. Flood now faces several charges, including felony murder and cruelty to children.
A Sandy Springs babysitter charged tonight with murder, accused of abusing a 2-year-old girl. 11 Live's Latasha Gibbons has the story.
Distraught beyond measure. It's unfathomable that she's not here with us. I don't know how you wake up each day and move on when such horrific loss that she's experiencing right now.
Samantha Shelton is speaking on behalf of the Fridley family as they mourn the tragic death of 2-year-old Fallon. Police say she was killed by her babysitter, 29-year-old Kirsty Flood. Sergeant Salvador Ortega with Sandy Springs Police says a 911 call led officers to Flood's apartment complex off of Monterey Parkway, where the toddler was found unresponsive.
An autopsy was conducted on the child, and it was determined that her cause of death to be homicide, as she had several injuries that resulted in her death.
Shelton says she's worked with Fallon's mother for the past few years at Fur Kids.
She is part of our family, and we stand with her. Her loss is our loss, and we loved Fallon. Fallon would come to work with her sometimes.
Shelton says Fallon loved animals like her mother, and the staff had already picked out her Christmas gifts. Shelton says the suspect has been friends with the Fridley family for years, and there was no indication the little girl was being abused.
How do you overcome such tragedy, and especially at the hands of someone that you knew and you trusted?
We asked police if there were any other suspects or if the child could have been harmed in any other way.
They exhausted every avenue, and they don't anticipate anyone else being charged at this point. That's why there's only one person in custody, and that is the babysitter.
Guys, let me give y'all my closing thoughts, but let me show you this. And I want the family to know that I do feel bad for the biological mother and biological father, even though people might not understand where I'm coming from. But this is really sad because you had a mom and a dad. They were both active in their baby's life. They both loved this little girl very much, providing for this little girl. And for them to trust this woman, I don't know if the woman worked in child care or what she did, but even if you just look at the woman's criminal history, I mean, I think that alone will let you know that she's probably not a suitable person to be around this little baby. I don't know if they were friends. I'm not sure, but there had to have been something that said to them, yeah, this person is probably going to be a good babysitter. But that woman is violent. She's violent according to her record. So we call a lot of men that do this, we call men thugs. I don't know what we would call women. I don't know what we would call a violent babysitter, a violent woman. A violent whore, I guess? A violent fat whore? I don't know. But y'all can see that this family truly loved this baby. Let me show y'all one more picture. This one. Definitely one of my favorite pictures of mom and dad. It's a beautiful picture. And they had every right. They had every right to raise that baby and make sure that she could grow up and become something great. But let me show y'all the one that really broke my heart. This picture here. And I'm going to say this to y'all, and I'm going to say this again. I don't know how any human, any person on earth can look at this picture, and think of abusing or hurting this baby. This baby cannot speak for herself, nor could she defend herself against the tyranny of her babysitter. She seemed happy. She seemed like any normal baby. I believe that all babies' lives matter. I believe that children should be protected. They should be loved. They should be cherished. They should be taken care of to make sure that they can grow up and become something great. And if that doesn't break your heart, that that woman was doing nothing more than thinking about how she could hurt this baby and take her life, then I really don't know where we're at in this world. That's my favorite picture of that baby. And when I did this story, it broke me down. It broke my heart. It really did. But let me say this to this overweight babysitter who we could barely squeeze her in the photo because she got so much on the sides and all that extra meat on the side that we weren't able to squeeze the rest of her fat ass in that picture. Let me see if I can get her back up here. Where's that babysitter at? To this woman, I hope that they give her life in prison. She's already proven herself to not be worthy to be in our society. She don't want to follow laws. She don't want to follow rules. She don't want to respect the judgments. Get rid of her ass. She's just as bad as people running around doing all these drive-bys and selling drugs and killing people and all this type of bull crap. She's just as bad. This woman deserves the death penalty if you ask me. But I want to know what you guys think. But leave me your comments in the comment section, in the live chat, whatever it is that you guys think. But for this little baby right here, there's nothing that's going to bring her back. I'm sorry to the mom and dad. Beautiful little girl, Fallon Lynn Friedley. R.I.P. Princess. R.I.P. This is your boy DJ Just J, and we're the AFC, where we're advocate for children first. From my heart to yours, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to this particular story.